Tonight on Q2, the battle over the rattle.
Deer are a much more dangerous animal in Montana than snakes are.
Be on alert. These venomous reptiles are out and about in Billings, plus taking the stage.
Baseball is what I did. It's not who I am.
A Major League All-Star visits the Magic City, but his message goes well beyond the playing field. And running into Billings.
You get tired, you get sore, but it's worth every step. It's worth every mile biked and ran for them, for the athletes.
Law enforcement and Special Olympics athletes join forces as the torch arrives in town. The MTN 10 o'clock news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. The final outcomes of hundreds of bills passed by the 2025 Montana legislature remain uncertain tonight. Many of those bills were completed 2 weeks ago, but Governor Greg Gianforte has the ultimate authority to sign them or veto them. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian found that budget concerns are already looming large in the governor's decisions.
Near the end of the 2025 legislative session, as lawmakers debated the budget and other big bills, some lawmakers said whatever the legislature did, Governor Greg Gianforte would likely be using his veto pen to adjust the final spending picture.
Anyone that suggests that they're surprised the exec is going to weigh in on this, well, I walked those halls and I heard it.
All in all, the legislature passed 816 bills this session. As of Tuesday morning, 574 of those have already become law. 208 have officially gone to the governor for consideration, with another 28 still yet to be sent over. Gianforte had vetoed 6 bills as of Tuesday. For 2 of them, one funding noxious weed treatment and one increasing Medicaid coverage for mental health medication, he specifically cited the cost, saying, quote, "I will keenly review the budget and spending bills the legislature passed, making some difficult decisions to protect taxpayers and their hard-earned resources." Senate Republican leaders put out a statement last week saying the legislature hadn't done enough to control spending and that the governor would have to use his veto power to get the budget in line.
I think that people did expect that was what was going to happen, but that doesn't really give us a free pass, right? We didn't do our job. Our job is to balance the budget. Our job is to appropriate the money.
Senator Carl Glimm from Kyla pointed to a fiscal analysis that says if all the bills the legislature passed became law, the state would be spending more than it brings in by 2028. Representative Lou Jones, a Republican from Conrad, said the legislature met its constitutional requirement by keeping the budget balanced for the next 2 years. He said the 4-year projections are informational only.
As these sheets begin to work, that's becoming balanced as well. That being said, we've got to realize that a 4-year out forecast is exactly that. There could be a bunch more people that come to the state. There could be higher income earnings by the people that are in the state.
But Jones says he too wants to see the governor veto bills for budget reasons, like one that would redirect marijuana tax revenue out of the state general fund. The governor has 10 days to sign or veto a bill after receiving it, but House Bill 2 and some of the other major budget bills are among those that legislative leaders haven't officially sent over to Gianforte yet. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
There's some better news tonight on inflation as it cooled for the 3rd straight month. That means the money in your pocket may be able to stretch a little further. The Consumer Price Index puts the rate at 2.3% for April. That's down from March and the lowest level since February of 2021. The numbers bring some long-awaited relief at the supermarket. Grocery prices are down 4%, and the price of eggs dropped 13%. The conditions make it more likely that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates. However, the Fed says it's not inclined to make that move quite yet. A warning tonight for all of you heading to the outdoors. Rattlesnakes are already being reported out. The venomous reptile can certainly present some dangers, especially in the rare chance you do get bitten. Tonight, our Haley Monaco reminds us what to do if you see one.
I like running and biking.
Enjoying the outdoors is easy in Montana.
We make a commitment that we try to meet up here probably 3 times a week.
Yep. Taking in the sights and sounds.
The scenery is beautiful.
From a bird's eye view, you can't see them.
For as much as I've been up here, I've never seen one.
But they're there.
As we were walking along, this rattler really hissed at us and was very unhappy that we were in his path.
So they like to be in the sun. They like to sit on rocks that are heated by the sun.
Usually you'll find rattlesnakes in places full of sagebrush and large rocks, like Phipps Park.
Anytime there's an exposure from a rattlesnake to a dog or to a human, people get really concerned.
According to global wildlife rescue specialist Dave Pauly, while you may see a rattlesnake, getting bitten by one is rare.
The risk from snakes in Montana is minimal. On average, there's 16 rattlesnake bites to humans statewide.
Pauly says if you are one of the few to get bitten by a rattlesnake, don't panic.
Many of those have no venom injected. They're dry bites. Keep the bite above your heart if you can. Go to a medical center, call ahead, and they will take care of you. But it's really minimal risk.
As you go explore the beauty the Treasure State has to offer, just remain cautious.
Come up here and enjoy this and not be so fearful, but just be on the lookout.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Montana's congressional delegation is calling on federal authorities to reverse a Fish and Wildlife Service decision and move toward delisting grizzly bears from the Endangered Species Act. Senator Steve Daines is the lead signer on a letter that asks the new acting Fish and Wildlife Director to stop a proposed rule that would require grizzly populations to recover further across the northwestern United States before delisting them. Federal authorities announced in the last month of the Biden administration that they'd rejected Montana and Wyoming's petition to delist grizzlies. The letter says grizzly populations are successfully recovering and that authorities were moving the goalpost on when states could take over managing the bears. Daines was joined in that letter by Montana's other three members of Congress, Senator Tim Sheehy and Congressman Ryan Zinke and Troy Downing.
Right on time, the heavier rain is moving over Wyoming and Montana right now. We've had some light amounts of rain recently between Livingston and Big Timber all the way toward Columbus. It is definitely heavier though over parts of Carbon County, heading into Stillwater County and Yellowstone County. We've had heavier rain around Billings, about a ½ inch now, and much that's fallen in just the last hour or so. Areas around Graybull and Cody, both about 1/3 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch around Livingston and also Worland, Wyoming, and the heavier rain just south of I-90. Please drive carefully into Bighorn County between Billings and Hardin, all the way toward Croansey and heading toward Sheridan. Also in the I-94 corridor, areas of rain from Hysham all the way to Forsyth. Your forecast coming up.
Major League Baseball's career hits leader is now eligible for the Hall of Fame. It comes after Pete Rose, whose career was tarnished by sports gambling, was reinstated by Commissioner Rob Manfred today. Manfred said he was changing the league's policy on permanent ineligibility, saying bans would expire at death. That means 17 players, including Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson, are now reinstated. Under current rules, the earliest Rose or Jackson could be inducted into the Hall of Fame would be 2028. Meanwhile, another former baseball all-star visited Billings today. You may remember Brett Butler, a speedy outfielder who had a long, successful career with a number of teams. Butler still has a love for baseball, but as our David J. reports, he also now has an even more important calling.
Baseball is what I did. It's not who I am.
Brett Butler played 17 years in the major leagues. He initially did not like the trade from Atlanta to Cleveland in 1984.
And my father said this to me: I never thought that I would live to see the day that you would be in a Cleveland uniform. That was my favorite team growing up. And he goes, and I can't tell you, son, how proud I am of it, and I love you very much. Here's your mom. I'm like, because, I mean, he wasn't a hugger. He didn't do that. And the reason why I tell you that is my father, the next day, died of a heart attack at 49 years old.
And his wife was not excited about the trade from the Los Angeles Dodgers to the New York Mets in 1995.
Every off day that I was in New York, while my mom was dying, I flew to Chicago. If I was in L.A., I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Brett's mother died at the age of 59 while Brett was talking with her on the phone. Butler has also had to deal with his own health issues.
I'm going to accept not only the good God gives me, but also the bad. I've been through 3 bouts of cancer and a stroke. That's why I talk the way I do.
Doctors told him he would never play again during that 1994 season with the Dodgers.
And if the Lord wants me to play again, I'll walk back on the field. I had the surgery May 2nd, walked back on the field September 10th of that year.
Brett Butler talks about his love for God, his wife, and his family. He met his wife while he was playing minor league baseball for the AAA Richmond Braves.
She had prayed to God to put a godly man into her life, and I'm like, Lord, put a godly woman in my life so we take all the desires of this away, and we're going on 44 years now.
Butler played in the 1989 World Series during the earthquake that postponed Game 3 between the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants.
It's just a humbling thing, realizing that Major League Baseball is just a game, and there's things a lot more important than that in life.
Butler managed the Reno Aces to the AAA championship in 2012 and continues to work with young ball players.
My heart's desire now is to share the gospel to young men, to teach them how to be men and fathers and husbands, and to be a man of God so that they can make a difference in this world.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
The Special Olympics torch has now arrived here in Billings. Special Olympics athletes and law enforcement men in Laurel making the trek to Billings with the flame lit proudly. That tradition dates back to 1981 in Kansas as a way for officers to get involved with Special Olympics. In Montana, the torch run began in April in Eureka, visiting a different city along the way. Today's journey lasted 17 miles, and Officer Cody Gallagher played the role of torchbearer.
Tired, you get sore, but it's worth every step. It's worth every mile biked and ran for them, for the athletes. They show us so much love. They show us so much support. So, I mean, I'd give them 400 miles if I could.
The final stretch starts at 4 o'clock tomorrow from MSU Billings to the courthouse representing the start of the games. The games feature around 1,000 athletes this year. And make sure to tune in both Friday and Saturday evenings. A full half-hour look at the Special Olympics. Magic Moments will air on both the MTN channel and Q2 at the times you see right there on your screen.